Hey yo, what do you know? Today we're cooking with D, and that's me. Bada boom, bada bing. The ingredients. I got all kinds of ingredients here. I got some salt, some pepper, some spices. We got some Jimmy Dean sausage, tomato soup. You're gonna want a family size tomato soup. This is just a baby size because I'm doing half the recipe because it's just me. D. We got some kale. I don't usually use kale, but I'm gonna use kale this time. Is that gonna be a problem? I didn't think so. All right. We got some tortellini, extra virgin olive oil. That's what you gotta have. We're gonna do some basil, little zook, a little bit of carrot. That's 24 carrot if you ask me. Some garlic, a little bit of onion. I already chopped the onion, but that's all right. All right. Now that everything's wet as sin, we can start peeling and dicing and chopping it up, huh? Alright, last but most, kale. I don't know how to chop kale, so I looked it up. They say you're going to take this here part off of there, and then just chop it up, I guess. I don't know, let's give it a shot.
And first, remove the giblets, and you really should save the giblets. They make a fine stock for soup.
Okay, now we got everything chopped. You got the onions, the kale, the carrots, the zucchini, the basil, the garlic. Now we move on and we gotta cook up the meat. And then you can cook up some of these veggies if you want. Otherwise, just dump them in the freaking crock pot. Who cares? Usually, I'm gonna use a full pound of sausage. But since I'm only making half the recipe for numero uno, I'm just gonna make this a half. Usually you make a whole pound. I got this witch's spoon. I'm gonna use half of this.
Extra virgin olive oil.
I'm gonna chop it down with my little doohickey here. Chop her up. They're all chopped up. Make sure to drain that grease though. If it gets too greasy, you don't want that grease all in your stew. Messing up the stew. Let's use my witch's spoon. Clean it off a little bit. The slices. I don't like the dices. I like the slices. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the onion in here.
One onion which is peeled and very thinly sliced.
Alright, now what you're going to do is start dumping good stuff in this crock pot. You got the tomato soup. You just dump it on in there. Maybe get a little spoon to help with your dumping. And you're going to follow the soup directions. 1 can of soup, 1 can of water. Get all that delicious soupy goodness out of there. You just keep dumping things in as you go. You got the turtles, the Ninja Tortellini. Teenage Mutant Ninja Tortellini, Teenage Mutant Ninja Tortellini. Tortellini in a half shell, total power.
We got some of this zucchini. Don't buy cucumber. You hear me? You buy cucumber, you're gonna have a funny tasting stew over here. Put some of that in there. Some of this basil. Sprinkle a little bit in. We're making a stew, not a soup. Stew. I know I use soup. That doesn't make it soup just because I use soup. I'm gonna put the meat and the onions in there with my witchy spoon. If you got some really greasy sausage, it's gonna be really weird if you don't drain it. Give it a little stir. Everything all soaky in there. Alright, now I'm gonna put it on temp low. Get a little more olive oil. Extra veg.
I'm gonna cook up these carrots a little bit. Sprinkle a little of this, a little of that. How about the garlic? I'll put the garlic in with these. You could cook the garlic with the onions. The onions and the garlic will cook well together.
Or you could just throw everything in the pot. You know, don't let me tell you how to live your life. You live your life how you want to live. You might be thinking, hey, what's the glass for? The glass is for tequila. What do you think the glass was for? Have some of this trying on.
Cook with some, drink with some.
You think it'll taste good in the stew? Whatever. You know, you can't have too much tequila. That's what I say.
I added a little water. I'm just gonna cook these down till they're nice and tender. They'll tenderize a bit in the crock pot, so don't be too worried about it. I'm just cooking them down a little. I don't like crunchy. I don't like them when they're crunchy in my stew. I could crunch a carrot, but maybe with some ranch dressing or something. Not in my stew, okay?
I'm gonna dump it in the crock pot. Everything's gonna dump in the crock pot.
Some people like the vegetables in it. I'm one of those kind of guys.
Get this kale, cook it down a little bit. It's a lot of kale. I don't know how much it's gonna cook down, so I'm gonna see how much it is. I got kale everywhere. If I need more, I'll put more. I probably need less. Some of this tomato juice can in. There you go. We're sizzling up here. We're cooking it down. It's gonna be great. Don't burn the kale. You don't want blackened kale. You just want it to get nice and green, cooked down a little. It's looking good and green. As far as spices go, all you really need is this Italian seasoning, some salt and pepper. I'm gonna go individual with basil, oregano, parsley. That's pretty much what's in the Italian seasoning, but we're gonna give it a go. Right now you got this beautiful, so many colors in this dish. It's a beautiful, delicious, rainbow colored dish. It's delightful. I already got plenty of basil, so I'm gonna go with the oregano, and we got garlic in there. A little more oregano, why not? Hey. All out. Parsley. I don't know how much you need. You just pour it till it looks good, okay? Stir everything in there. Turn the crock pot on high for a little bit. I don't know how long, okay? Just turn it on and relax. Don't rush it, you know what I'm saying? Don't rush it. Just put it on high and wait. Look at these folks over here rushing. Stop and smell the flowers. Enjoy your life. Pet a cat. You rush through everything. You know what's at the end of this? Death. A good measure of time is when the tequila runs out. You run out of tequila, it's probably time to turn it down to the low. Turn it down to low. Make sure your cheese is melting. My cheese isn't melted yet, so maybe I'll let it cook a little longer. 30 minutes seems good.
A few moments later.
Simmer down now, simmer down.
Yep, you man. Who is this queen of disco?
Donna Summer?
Now how do her name appear in the phone book?
Summer Donna?
Stretch it out now. Stretch it out. Simmer down now. Simmer down.
What?
Yeah, simmer down now. That cheese is all melted down. Just give it a little stir. Keep it on low. Hey, check out my witchy spoon in action.
Witchy woman, she's got the moon in her eyes.
And now our stew is cooked long enough.
I like to top it off with a little Italian cheese. Mozzarella, a little smoked provolone, a little bit of cheddar, a little bit of Asiago, a little bit of Romano. Now you can cook it in the crock pot like I showed you, or you could cook it stovetop in a pan, but you gotta pay attention. I don't like to pay attention, I like to wander. I get antsy, I like to open it up and stir it around a bit. Don't keep opening it, I like to open it. I like to fiddle with it, fuss with it, and get in there and stir it around. Leave that lid on there and just let it sit, let it simmer. You let it simmer, put on more. The flavors seep in. So good. Juicy. Creamy from the cream cheese. Now this is a type of meal that reheats great because it's so juicy. Locks in all that flavor. You throw it in the microwave. Cover it with a paper towel. You gotta cover it with a paper towel. Don't be an animal. Cover it up so you're not splashing all over the microwave like a beast of nature. Now the only difference between this and the full recipe is I have the tortellini, the soup, and the meat. All the veggies are the same. Everything else you're gonna do is the same. If you're not a salad fan, you could skip the kale. But the kale is delicious, I'm telling you. You've gotta try it with the kale. This meal is so versatile. You could add whatever you want. You could add celery, mushrooms, peppers, spinach, broccoli, whatever.
She bought some broccoli. She brought it home. She's chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. She chopping, she chopping, she chopping, she chopping, she chopping, chopping broccoli.
You want to put in it basically. If you could put it in a stew or a soup, you could probably put it in this tortellini stew. It's creamy, full of flavor, it's hearty. This will fill you up. I'm telling you. Such a good dish. It's so versatile. You can make it your own. And I encourage you to do so.
You have the courage of your conviction.
So good. We're cooking with D. It's me.
Here's a recipe that has taken the internet by storm.
I want to encourage you to check out all of the songs, shows, and chefs featured in this video.